Hi there, and welcome back to my Stellaris Let's Play, Advanced Strategy Tips and Tricks. This is part 3. In this episode we're going to be looking at how stability works, using your internal market effectively, how to deal with anomalies, clerk job management, and low habitability planets. We'll be continuing to expand our early empire, setting down another colony ship, and generally getting on with the early game. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thanks for watching. Alright then, so here we are. Our first world is finishing the process of colonization. We are building our second colony ship. We are upgrading our fleet, and we are attempting to survey the star systems between us and our second colony.
Registered.
So here we've just had an anomaly pop up. Now, it can be enticing to do all the anomalies you find at the start of the game as soon as you find them, and you really don't want to do that for two reasons. The first reason is that as the game goes on, your scientists are going to become more skilled and they're going to find it easier to do anomalies, so you'll be able to complete them in a much shorter time frame. And the second part of this, which is almost part of the first, is that your anomalies aren't going anywhere. Your opponents and the other alien races, they can't complete the anomalies you find. There's really no rush to complete them. So you should really leave your anomalies for at least the first 10 to 15 years until you've done lots of surveying, because at the beginning you need to survey lots of systems to find out where you should be expanding to. And to do that, you need to be using your scientists. So it's kind of a waste of time to spend time now at this stage of the game completing these anomalies. Almost completed our second research lab. That should put our research up to somewhere around the 120, 125 mark. And we'll see that at the end of the month when it ticks over. Now, we've just had population upgrade itself from a worker to a specialist, two in fact. And we've been left in a situation where we have some empty jobs. In this case, we need to make sure that we're doing our own population management here. So a little bit of micro, because the computer is assigning the wrong jobs. It's got 3 pops on clerk jobs, 6 farmers, 4 miners, and 7 technicians. Our technicians are each producing 5 energy. On the other hand, our clerks are producing 2 amenities and 2.5 trade value. They're only producing 2.5 in this case because of our specific trait. So 2 trade value is equivalent to 1 energy for us and 0.5 unity. That's really not worth it compared to getting 5 energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the number of clerk jobs by clicking here. That will force a worker into our technician jobs. If you have unemployed pops, it's better to have them working something like a clerk job, but in this case we've got no rush for amenities. We've got positive amenities. That's adding a small amount of happiness. We don't have negative. Now, if you have negative amenities, that can be okay. 2, 3, 4, even 5 negative amenities won't be a massive impact on happiness. But beyond 5, you should really consider building entertainment buildings to increase the amenities of your population. But positive amenities have a much lower effect on your planet than negative ones do. In a similar way to stability. So if your stability is above 50, for every point of stability, you're going to be getting plus 0.6% resources and plus 0.6% trade value, as well as a small amount of extra immigration pull. Conversely, if you are below 50 stability, you're going to be getting minus 1% resources and minus 1% trade value per point. So it's much more punishing to have below 50% or negative stability than it is to have positive. And stability is impacted by your happiness. So Amenities, as I say, can be important, but they're not the be all and end all. So we're just going to press play again on this. And we're also going to move our construction ship into position in the second star system, just so we can decrease the amount of time it's going to take for our colony ship to move across to Gamesia and begin colonizing. Now we've also just gone into negative consumer goods, not by very much, by 0.3. Over time, that's going to drop to eventually the point where we need to be buying consumer goods or building a consumer goods factory. It might look very worrying, but this actually isn't a big deal. What we should do now is start adding some monthly trades, because a monthly trade will be less costly over time than by simply buying bulk or selling bulk. You're going to get more value out of doing a monthly trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, at the moment, increase our monthly trades of consumer goods just by 1 so that we remain in the positive. I'm not rushing to build another colony ship. I don't need a massive positive number of consumer goods. At the same time, I'm also going to be selling some food. I'm going to sell 14 just so I remain in the positive. Actually, to be honest, I'll put that up to 20. I also don't need food right now. I'm not going to be producing another colony ship soon, and if I did, I've still got more than 200 food. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're going to start off with the internal market. Later on, if the Galactic Senate is formed, that could change to a galaxy-wide market. But in principle, it's still the same. The principles are still the same. So resources have an inherent value that if nothing is being bought or sold, they will tend to track towards. So for your base resources, that's minerals and food, that's a value of 1. Your consumer goods are valued at 2, and your alloys are valued at 4. Also, not available right now, but they'll come through later. There are the exotic resources, the volatile motes, exotic gases, rare crystals. Those are valued at 10. The living metal, Zro, dark matter, those are all valued at 20. Of course, there's also your market fee to consider. So whilst food is valued at 1, I can only sell it for 0.7 and I have to buy it for 1.3. When you have an internal market, the prices are going to move back towards those norms I just talked about, 1 and 2 and 4. They're going to do that each day at the resolution of each day. If you're selling too much or buying too much, you're going to cause the prices in your internal market to not be able to get back to those norms of 1. So you need to be careful about overselling and overbuying. With an internal market, about 40 or 50 food or energy is really the limit where you can keep the price stable. When you get to a galactic market, as we'll have later on, that limit tends to go away because there are other players buying and selling in the market. So it dilutes your impact on the prices just in terms of getting back to that stability. So let's press play again here. By selling that food, we're going to be increasing our energy income quite a bit. The reason I didn't sell minerals at this point is that minerals I'm going to need to build districts and buildings. I want to be increasing my mineral production until I get to somewhere in the region of 50 or 100, whereas I don't actually need food for anything except my population, so I can sell that off for energy. So we built the colony ship. I'm going to tell it to move to Gamesia. And now I've got a choice. Because I haven't finished surveying Azalea, and I also haven't finished surveying Gamesia, but I've almost finished surveying it, I could choose to move my construction ship to Gamesia to build the starbase there first. That's going to cut down the amount of time it takes to build a starbase at Gamesia, rather than building one at Azalea and then one at Gamesia. That will unfortunately cost me double the influence. And in the early game, I'm not going to be getting very much influence per turn. So I'm actually going to choose to sacrifice 3 to 6 months of time for building 2 star bases, one at Azalet and one at Gamesia, in order to save time on building, in order to save resources.
Research concluded.
In order to save influence resources. So I've got another technology to choose between. So at this early stage, I could choose mining station output. That would be a good one. But actually, I haven't started building up my fleet yet. So a 5% decrease in cost on my corvettes. If I build 20 corvettes, that's going to be a free corvette. I'm going to take that one. Planetary build speed, it's not necessarily that important right now. I'm going to ignore that. And now we're going to set our scientist off to survey some other systems. Because I now want to start seeing which systems adjacent to me are valuable. Which ones I should be taking first. I'm also going to... So, an important note here. I've got an anomaly on Gamesia. That's actually a bit of a problem. I can't colonize a planet until I look at the anomaly. So I'm going to have to do this anomaly immediately. It's a level 4. It's going to take 300 days. It's a bit of a pain. It's also another creepy anomaly. We've got abandoned settlers. So both of our planets we've got 2 creepy planets. Now looking at the choices here, I could take an increase in research station output. Looking at my home world, I've got 5 science output. That 10% bonus is not going to be massive, but it will be getting better later on. So I'm actually going to take that for now because I don't think I'm going to be pushing down the blue laser research path immediately in this game. I think I'm going to go for more of a mass driver, missile, and then fighter build. As I said, normally I wouldn't be doing an anomaly, but I'm going to have to do an anomaly in this case. Also, I've got an archaeological site. Now this one is... It's not, I think, associated with anything. It's only a difficulty 1, but I'm actually not going to do it yet for the simple reason that I want to be doing these surveys as soon as possible. I've completed the construction there. I'm going to send him on to Gamesia. And I'm going to make sure my colony ship is in the right place. I'm glad that I chose to build the starbase here, as I wouldn't, even if I built a starbase on Gamesia, I would have been waiting on this anomaly to finish. And now we've got our next tradition available. I definitely want to take a new life. That's going to give me a plus 10% to pop growth speed. That's fantastic at this stage of the game.
Research concluded.
And now looking at the society research. So again, I'm not going to be taking planetary unification. I don't need the +2 unity. On the other hand, a plus 20% to farming output is really quite good. I've got 6 farmers already. That's going to be the equivalent of getting 1.5 extra pops farming. Well, actually a bit less, because my farmers already have some modifiers, but I'm going to take that anyway because I can sell the extra food for energy. Now, I do have other systems in my empire which have a habitability. It's 50% or above. That it's not awful. I'm not going to be in a desperate rush to colonize these though. 60% is okay, but it's not fantastic. 80% you should definitely colonize always, but 60% that's going to be giving me some big negative modifiers. I'm going to be losing 25% resources. I'm going to have a 25% pop growth speed
System survey
modifier.
Concluded.
And I'm going to have a plus 50% upkeep and amenities on this world because this is at 50%. I definitely don't want to have that at this stage. That's going to be a real burden for my economy.
Construction project concluded.
I'm probably going to colonize this Alpine world. That's at 65. That's got atmospheric aphrodisiac. So I've got increased pop growth. I've got increased habitability. So I'm only going to have a pop growth speed modifier here of of -7%. That's pretty manageable. I'm going to actually colonize that planet because I've got plenty of minerals. I'm actually going to build a couple of star bases en route to doing that because I've got plenty of minerals. I want to be building up my economy, and to do that I do need to increase my income, and to do that I'll need to build star bases. But I'm going to set him on a general path that way. Now I've just got an interesting event pop up. So I had my anomaly finished here, and I'm now going to colonize the planet. I always like setting the random colony names as well. And I'm going to make sure my scientist continues off. As soon as he's researched this thing. So now, on my home world, I have a bit of an issue. I have unemployment. But luckily, I can immediately put him into the clerk job. But I don't want to keep him there. I still have I'm somewhat over my administrative capacity. I'm at 48. But as you can see, that's only a plus 3% additional cost of technology. Compared to building a science lab, that's nothing. That's a very, very tiny margin. So on my home world, I'm actually going to, at this point, build another science lab. I could build an alloy plant, but I'm actually going to be pushing for science here because I really, really want to be ahead of the empires around me with my science. That will give me bonuses to my diplomacy later on, and all sorts of other bonuses. Well, we're going to leave it there for now. This will be the end of part 3. I hope you found something useful in what I've talked about today, and I hope you can apply some of it to your own games. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, you can like, leave a comment, even subscribe. Thanks for watching.